Hi guys, it's Stock Curry. I used to work as a former analyst for some large investment banks, and now I analyze stock picks from the top 10 YouTubers. And today, we're going to talk about AMC, and here's why. For the past couple of months, there has been a lot of speculation about naked shorting, synthetic shares, and massive market manipulation. But up until now, nobody has been able to prove any of this. We've only been able to speculate on it based upon weird things happening with short interest, weird things happening with volume, and weird things happening with failures to deliver. So far, we have not had any proof that any of this has actually been occurring. Until now. In the last couple of days, there have been some information that's been floating around on YouTube and Twitter and Reddit about this site called stockgrid.io. And when I went to go look at stockgrid.io today and compared it to the numbers that were presented on Reddit and YouTube and Twitter yesterday, the numbers were not adding up. And something really funky and weird was going on. And that caused me to dig a lot deeper into this. And when I did, oh my gosh, I found that this site is actually proof of naked shorting. Or at the very least, massive market manipulation. So today, I'm going to go through these numbers in detail. I'm going to go through the site, explain what the numbers mean, and I'm going to show you how this site proves either naked shorting or massive market manipulation. So bear with me. We're about to get into it. For those of you guys who are new to this channel, my name is Stock Curry. I used to work as an analyst for some large investment banks, and now I analyze stock picks from the top 10 YouTubers. Every day, I give you the cliff notes on every single stock pick from the top 10 YouTubers in one concise video, as well as my analysis on their stock picks. Now, if anything I talk about today piques your interest, make sure you pay attention to who I say mention that stock, and then go watch their video to get the full details on what they said. Now, all I ask in return for putting all of this together for you guys is that you hit that like button, subscribe, click the bell icon, and then click all so that you can get notified when I release my next video. In fact, I'll give you 5 seconds to do that right now. Okay, before I show you the proof of naked shorting, I just want to remind everyone that I am not a financial advisor, and none of the YouTubers I analyze are financial advisors either. Nothing I talk about today is a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold. These are just my opinions, which may or may not be accurate. Please do your own research before investing in any asset. By the way, if you're curious what you're looking at right now, this is the Webull desktop app. Webull is the app that I use for my trading, and it is also the app that I use in all of my videos. If you'd like to get 2 free stocks worth up to $2,300, you can sign up for Webull using my link in the description below. When you sign up using my link in the description below and deposit just $100, Webull is going to send you 2 free stocks worth up to $2,300. Also, I'm going to be talking about a lot of penny stocks today, so just keep in mind that Webull does not offer over-the-counter or OTC penny stock trading. To buy OTC penny stocks, you will need to open an account with a traditional broker such as Interactive Brokers. Okay, I don't want to delay any further, so let's get right into this proof of naked shorting. Okay, what we're going to be talking about to prove naked shorting is stockgrid.io and their dark pool data. And I want to start with the numbers that were originally reported yesterday. Now up here at the top, we have the numbers that were originally reported yesterday, and it turns out that these were actually Tuesday's numbers. Now what was shown is a negative 17 million volume and a negative $1 billion volume, but what everybody really focused on was the position of negative 398 million shares. Also the position of negative $21 billion. And when I looked at the numbers that were reported today, they just weren't quite adding up. Here's what I found. If we take these numbers from Tuesday, they were also reported down here. So here you have it, the negative 17,871,578, which matches up with this. So this is Tuesday's numbers, 6/15. On 6/16, this is Wednesday's numbers, they reported net short volume of negative 13,851,204. So we have that right here. Then on 6/17, this would be Thursday's numbers, we had a net short volume of negative 37,711,311 shares. So I put that right here. So I thought that we could just add all this up, right? We take the position of negative 398 million from Tuesday. We'll start with that. We'll subtract the net short volume from Wednesday, right here. We'll subtract the net short volume from Thursday, right here. And if we do this math, we end up with what should be a position of 449,621,778. But what I found is that the position is actually negative 470,547,904. So 470 million reported on stockgrid.io today when it should have been 449 million. So what is going on? Why do we have this 20 million share difference? Are these really bad numbers that we just can't look at? Or is something else going on? Okay, let's dig deeper and just keep in mind these are Thursday's numbers here. You can see the position, negative 470,547,904. Now let me pull up the actual website and you'll see the same thing. Position, negative 470,547,904. So again, this is Thursday's numbers. So I started digging into how this website reports its numbers to try to figure out what is going on here and why the position was so different. And all the way down at the bottom of the website, I found an explanation of how they get their numbers. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. Okay, let's read it together. Short volume represents the aggregate volume by security for all short sale trades executed and reported to a TRF, ADF, or ORF as reported by FINRA. Although it may seem noisy and a rather poor factor on its own, it has been shown by squeeze metrics that higher short sales volume tends to lead to abnormal positive returns. And of course that makes sense. When you have a high amount of short volume, that usually means that a stock is being shorted heavily, which in turn means that we could have a potential short squeeze, which could in turn mean that we would have an abnormal positive returns on the stock if we were to go long on it. So all of that makes sense. The argument is that short sale volume mostly represents shares sold short by market makers to investors buying stocks. These investors are referred to as dark pools, since the FINRA TRF trades are from off-exchange venues. Okay, let's get into what this means. So first of all, what is the FINRA TRF trades? Well, according to FINRA's own website, a TRF is a trade reporting facility. Each FINRA trade reporting facility provides FINRA members with a mechanism for reporting of transactions effected otherwise than on an exchange. So in other words, these are trades that were made off of an exchange. In the investment banking world, these are known as dark pools. So as we see here on stockgrid.io, the dark pools are the FINRA TRF trades. Okay, let's go deeper and find out where they get these numbers from. The goal of this page is to show the cumulative net short dollar volume represented by dark pool position dollars. So, cumulative net short dollar volume represented by dark pool position dollars. Okay, what is dark pool position dollars? Scroll back up to the top and we have it here. Dark pool position dollars. Dark pool position dollars. Negative 24 billion. Okay, back down to the bottom. So dark pool position dollars is the cumulative net short dollar volume. So that's the goal. The goal of the page is to report this number here. Okay, how do they calculate it? It is calculated by taking the net short volume. What's net short volume? Net short volume is this number here, the 37 million. Okay, how do they calculate net short volume? Net short volume is calculated by the short volume minus the buy volume. I'm going to say that again, the short volume minus the buy volume. Here's why that's important. A positive number means that the short volume was higher than the buy volume. Again, a positive number means that the short volume was higher than the buy volume. So what was it on AMC? It was a negative number. So if the net short volume was negative, what does that mean? Well, if a positive number means that the short volume was higher than the buy volume, then a negative number means that the buy volume was higher than the short volume. So if the buy volume was higher than the short volume, then that means that the number that we're seeing here, this negative 37 million, was actually 37 million shares bought on the dark pools today. This is a net long number. Net short volume negative equals net long volume positive. So 37 million shares bought on the dark pools today. Okay, let's go further and figure out how we get this position. The dark pool position dollars is calculated by taking the net short volume times the closing price. Okay, let's go do that calculation. 37,711,311 times the closing price of 60.73 equals 2,290,207,917. 2,290,207,920. We're off by about $3. That could be represented by fractions of a penny on the actual closing price. So that's how we get our net short volume dollars. Let's go further. The net short volume times the closing price and taking the 20-day cumulative sum of this series. Okay, what does that mean? Back up to the top. That means that this number is the 20-day cumulative total of this number. So over the past 20 days, the dark pool has resulted in a net purchase of $24 billion, or a net purchase of 470 million shares. That's right. Over the past 20 days, a total of 470 million shares have been purchased on the dark pools. Okay, that's what the numbers are showing. That is the absolute fact. So how is it possible that 470 million shares are purchased on the dark pools when only 500 million shares are in the total float and retail investors own 80% of the shares? None of this makes any sense. So now the question is, what is a logical reason why 470 million shares would have been purchased in the dark pools over the past 20 days on a stock that has a 500 million share float? And there are only two reasons how this could happen. Reason number one is that there was massive naked short selling, and over the past 20 days, 470 million shares have been purchased to cover the naked shorting. Now, there is a second possibility, and the second possibility is that large institutions are buying shares on the dark pools, and then they are selling them in the open markets. So why would they do that? Well, when you buy something on the dark pools, it does not affect the price of the security. This was originally designed because if you're dealing in very, very high volumes, let's say you wanted to buy 100 million shares of AMC, you don't want to go do that on the actual open market because that would cause a significant rise in the price. You would absolutely screw yourself. And so the SEC and FINRA allow institutions to trade amongst themselves, and then they have to record those trades through a TRF. This website shows the net totals of all of the TRF trades that have been reported by all of the large institutions to NASDAQ and FINRA. So what could be happening here, if this is not naked shorts covering, then what it is large institutions are buying these positions amongst themselves in the dark pools, but then they're turning around and selling the shares on the open market. What that does is provide all of the downward selling pressure on AMC, affecting the actual price without influencing any of the buying pressure on AMC. As a result, all we have is downward selling pressure on AMC with no upward buying pressure. It is a sign of massive market manipulation to keep the price of AMC down. So there we have it from FINRA's own numbers reported to the NASDAQ. We either have massive covering of naked shorts or massive market manipulation pushing the price of AMC down. It is proof. It is right here. 470 million shares purchased in the dark pools in the last 20 days. It's undeniable. I sincerely hope somebody from the SEC is watching this video because there is no doubt you cannot explain these numbers any other way. This is flat out naked shorts covering or massive market manipulation. So finally, there you go. There we have it. Proof of all of this happening. So for everybody who's been commenting on these videos saying the thing that's been bothering them is that there was never any proof, there you go. There you have it. There's your proof. 470 million shares purchased on a stock that has 500 million shares outstanding. Okay, let's get into the stock picks. And first up in our stock picks is ABML. This is American Battery Metals Corporation. They're a lithium battery recycler. StockMo said ABML is one of the best penny stocks to buy now. ABML filed for NASDAQ listing last month. It typically takes 4 to 6 weeks for NASDAQ listing to take place, so ABML could get NASDAQ listing any day now. Once ABML gets NASDAQ listing, you will be able to buy ABML on Webull. Next up is ALPP. This is Alpine 4. They're a holding company. Their holdings include 2 American drone companies, 1 retail and 1 commercial. StockMo listed ALPP as one of the best penny stocks to buy now. ALPP has gone down over the past few days, but did bounce off of a level of support today. ALPP is an OTC penny stock, so you will not be able to buy it on Webull. ALPP has made the decision to apply for listing on the NASDAQ, but they have not applied for listing yet. Once ALPP applies for listing, it will take 4 to 6 weeks for NASDAQ approval. Next up is AMC, and this is AMC Movie Theaters. The traveling trader reviewed AMC today and said it is at a level of resistance. Of course, $60 is a key level for AMC for the gamma squeeze, and both shorts and market makers are going to do everything they can to get AMC below $60 on Friday. Technically though, the type of green candle that we got on Thursday is very bullish and points to continued bullishness on Friday. So it'll be very interesting to see what AMC does on Friday. Obviously, a close above $60 will help push a gamma squeeze, which in turn will help fuel a short squeeze. Now for next week, the traveling trader said $75 would be the next level of resistance for AMC, and if AMC can break above that, then $100 is doable. For now, I'm going to maintain my $100 price target on AMC, but I will be monitoring this stock closely and I will let you know when it is time for me to change the price target. We still have not seen a short squeeze on AMC, and of course the short squeeze is what we need to really push this stock price higher. Next up is CCIV. This is a SPAC and they're merging with Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors is an American EV company and a competitor to Tesla. The merger has been pushed off until the third quarter of 2021. StockMo said CCIV won't start taking off until Lucid starts delivering vehicles. CCIV already pulled back from its oversold territory, but it is still trending downward. So I don't think we've seen the bottom on CCIV just quite yet. I think CCIV will test $21 again before continuing higher. Next up is CHPT. This is ChargePoint. They are the largest charging station company in North America with 73% of the total market share. StockMo continues to like CHPT, and ZipTrader said CHPT was one of its highest conviction EV plays. But just like LI and XPEV, which you'll see later, CHPT is approaching overbought and is due for a pullback. I would not be surprised to see CHPT get down to around $26 when the pullback happens. In the long term, ZipTrader reiterated his $40 price target on CHPT. Next up is CRWD. This is CrowdStrike. This is a cybersecurity company used by banks and other large companies to help cybersecurity professionals manage threats. ZipTrader said that CRWD has now hit his price targets and recommends selling if this is a short-term play for you. You can either do that by taking out your initial investment, setting a trailing stop loss, or just selling the stock. If CRWD is a long-term hold for you, then it still remains a good long-term hold stock. Next up is FSR. This is Fisker. They're a car company getting into EVs. StockMo mentioned FSR today as the stock that he likes for a long-term hold. FSR rose rapidly along with stocks like LI and XPEV, but it did start its pullback already. I think FSR will pull back to around $15 before bottoming out. Next up is HVBTF. This is Hive Blockchain Technologies. They're a Bitcoin and Ethereum miner. StockMo listed HVBTF as one of the best penny stocks to buy now. HVBTF should move along with the prices of Bitcoin and Ethereum. The stock price has actually been flat for the past few weeks while Bitcoin has been rising, so this may be slightly undervalued right now. HVBTF is an OTC penny stock, so you won't be able to trade it on Webull. Next up is LI. This is Li Auto. They're a Chinese EV company. StockMo said he keeps mentioning the same stocks over and over again because there are only a few stocks that StockMo really believes in, and StockMo said LI is one of those high-quality stocks that he really believes in. That said, LI is way overbought right now, and it is due for a serious pullback. I think we'll see LI pull back to around $25 before continuing its run up. LI is already at StockMo's year-end price target, and StockMo does not think LI will get back to all-time highs until next year. Next up is MARA. This is Marathon Digital Holdings. They're a Bitcoin miner. StockMo listed MARA as one of the best penny stocks to buy now. I have no idea why StockMo included MARA in his list of penny stocks though, because StockMo describes penny stocks as any stock with a market cap of less than $1 billion, and MARA has a market cap of around $3 billion. Technically, any stock with a market cap of less than $2 billion is called a small cap stock, not a penny stock, but I digress. MARA will mostly move with the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been rising over these past few weeks, and MARA has been rising as well. Next up is ME. This is 23andMe. This used to be VGAC. The merger is completed and the ticker is now ME. The traveling trader listed ME as one of the best stocks to buy now. An article came out today saying that ME is much more than an ancestry company. They are entering the medical testing and diagnostic space. ME was up 21% today on that news. The traveling trader does recommend waiting for a retracement on ME before buying due to Thursday's run-up. You can try to buy ME closer to $12, or you can just start buying now and dollar cost averaging in. ME is a long-term hold for the traveling trader. Next up is NIO. This is NIO, and they're a Chinese EV manufacturer. StockMo thinks NIO will explode through the rest of this year. StockMo did not increase his $60 year-end price target though. Technically, NIO is showing conflicting results. The RSI is back to oversold, but the MACD continues to drop. Given the strong trend upward over the past few months, I do think NIO is due for a small pullback, so I tend to believe the MACD right now. I do think we will see a short-term pullback on NIO soon, most likely next week. Next up is NYMT. This is New York Mortgage Trust. StockMo listed NYMT as one of the best penny stocks to buy now. Unlike the other penny stocks on this list today, this is not a high-growth stock. Instead, this is a slow grower and also a dividend stock. So you might want to consider this one for a long-term hold. NYMT has a dividend yield of 8.62% as of Thursday's closing price. NYMT dropped from a fairly consistent price of around $6 per share pre-pandemic and has since been consistently going up. StockMo thinks NYMT will get back to $6 soon. Next up is RUN. This is Sunrun. They're a solar renewable energy company. The traveling trader listed RUN as one of the best stocks to buy now. The traveling trader said RUN has bottomed out and is now going back up. While RUN remains bullish in the short term, it is approaching overbought on the RSI, so I do expect the bullishness to slow down, but I still think RUN would make a good long-term hold. The reason RUN ran up so much over the past few days is because Morgan Stanley gave RUN a $91 price target, which represents a 74% upside from Thursday's closing price. The traveling trader did recommend setting a stop loss at $35 just in case RUN drops again. Next up is SOFI. This is SOFI. They're an online fintech startup. The traveling trader listed SOFI as one of the best stocks to buy now. He likes it as a long-term hold. The traveling trader said SOFI has a 30% upside from current prices. Next up is TSLA. This is Tesla. They're an American EV manufacturer. StockMo said TSLA has been sold off to a point that is ridiculous. Everything I said about the technicals yesterday still holds true. TSLA continues to trade in this consolidation wedge, and I do think Friday will be the last day of consolidation before we get a breakout to the upside on Monday. And last we have XPEV. This is XPeng. They're a Chinese EV manufacturer. XPEV is trading very similarly to LI. It is overbought and due for a pullback. I think we'll see XPEV get back down to around $35 before bottoming out. Longer term, XPEV is a great stock, and both StockMo and ZipTrader said XPEV is undervalued. ZipTrader reiterated his $70 price target on XPEV. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. Comment down below what you think about these Stocker.io numbers. And also, I wanted to let you know, if you want to know what I'm buying and selling, I post all of my trades in real time within minutes of making the trade on Facebook and Twitter. I just changed those links to make it a lot easier to follow me. All you have to do is follow me at Facebook or Twitter at Real Scott Curry. That's Real Scott Curry. So if you want to know what I'm buying and selling within real time, I post it on Facebook and Twitter at Real Scott Curry. It's facebook.com/Real Scott Curry or twitter.com/Real Scott Curry. Also, if you guys want to get some free stocks, you can sign up for Webull using my link in the description below. When you sign up using my link in the description below and deposit just $100, Webull's going to send you 2 free stocks worth up to $2,300. They're also going to give me one free stock, so it helps you out and it also helps the channel out. Finally, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon if you haven't already. I hope you have a lot of success trading, and I will see you tomorrow.